Hello, I'm Natalie Kunsman, MD, and today we are going to boost your brain power. So, our brains are plastic. They can change and they can improve if given some of the correct components. So, one of those components is sleep. There's information from the University of Colorado that notices that the neurons will change after sleep. And that's because there's a removal system at nighttime when we sleep, where some of the built up beta amyloid plaques and leftover cellular and neuronal debris will get cleansed and evacuated through the CSF during nighttime when we sleep. The other thing is our delta waves, which are those slower waveforms, will go down with age, and those delta waves are crucial for good sleep. Another component to help build our brain health is food. And of course, food is thy first medicine. First of all, we want to avoid all of the allergy-prone foods. And some of the highest allergy-prone foods are sugar, wheat, corn, soy, different types of nuts, and dairy. So eliminating these for a while will really help build or change some of that mental fogginess that you may have, and that will clear up. So what we would like to do is change our diet over to those brain boosting foods. And those include the green veggies, nuts, berries, fish, olive oil, the red wine, low or no grain. So ketogenic and no sugar is imperative for good cognition and brain functioning. And high sugar and diabetes, as a reminder, is high risk to developing Alzheimer's disease. Again, on the food-related topics, try to practice some intermittent fasting. So one strategy to be super productive with your brain power is to actually be hungry. And I mean that literally. So the evidence is showing that intermittent fasting will elevate human growth hormone, and growth hormone for us adult people will work to restore our body functions and promote growth of those neuron connections in the brain. Another strategy to build that brain power is physical activity. Again, physical activity is absolutely medicinal. And the research shows that when the beta amyloid plaques reduce, that will happen during a workout. And of course, if you're working out on a regular basis, that will clear that up. Do not forget, exercise has also helped develop BDNF, which is some of that neuronal food to help build up new, fresh neurons. Do not forget hydration, hydration, hydration. Water enhances the brain's electrochemical activity. So the flip side is dehydration will actually slow that down. Another strategy is energy and sound work, and this is not all inclusive, but for instance, there have been studies that we recommend now listening to classical music because at the University of California-Irvine, they found a temporary spike in IQ for those students that were listening to Mozart. Try to learn how to lucid dream. And lucid dreaming is to be in the dream state, but yet have a conscious awareness of that dream state. And that is very good for brain building activities. Of course, back to the delta waves, again, that energetic frequency helps us sleep. Of course, there are other brain waves depending upon our day and depending upon our alertness and depending upon the activities that we are doing. Don't forget the earth frequencies and Schumann resonance is imperative to optimize our brain health. Another technique is simply breath work. And there are a lot of practitioners that will exercise different types of breath work, and some of the tenets and principles of yoga and meditation, the foundation of that includes breath work. So extra oxygen to that brain increases neural activity. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about supplementation and herbs as a brain strategy. Some of the really good supplementation or the supplements out on the market that can help with brain and cognition include huperazine, DMAA, amino acids, and the two bigger ones are L-tyrosine and L-theanine, St. John's wort, vitamin B, one of my favorites, ginkgo biloba. Let's also consider bacopa, and even some of the herbs that can release an extended release caffeine, such as guarana. Another very important food for the brain is phosphatidylserine and great fish oils that will include DHEA, and that is imperative for even the fetus and pediatric population as well as the adult brain health. My quick disclaimer is please do not use some of these supplements without physician involvement, and some of the great strategies out there have companies that require physician involvement because there are side effects and interactions of some of these supplemental strategies to ongoing medications. I would be remiss if I did not talk about good gut health, because good gut health, we are now believing, equates to good brain health. So your gut and brain are connected through chemicals called neurotransmitters, and they transmit through the vagus nerve, and I have a lecture on that if you would like to see that. The neurotransmitters are used in the brain, and they help with all kinds of things, including feelings and emotions, but 90% of them are manufactured in the gut with the help of our gut bacteria. For example, the neurotransmitter serotonin contributes to feelings of happiness and helps control our body clock, but it is made from L-tryptophan in the gut plexus. Now, there are trillions of microbes or bacteria that live in our gut and make short-chain fatty acids such as butyrate, propionate, acetate, which I've talked about that in previous lectures. And those are made even more so during a ketogenic diet. So those gut microbes also will metabolize bile salts and amino acids and produce other chemicals that will affect the brain. So we need those bacterial critters in a very varied amount and varied species. Now, if your immune system, for instance, is switched on for a long time, it can lead to inflammation, which can lead to depression and Alzheimer's. And that is partly because of LPS, lipopolysaccharide, which is an inflammatory toxin made by certain bacteria. And that, again, can cause inflammation if too much of that will pass into the bloodstream and get to the brain. So we have favorable bacteria that we can feed with the good food strategies that I mentioned. And then we have unfavorable bacteria that can secrete or create LPS as a byproduct, and that will come from some of the standard American diet that is high in sugar. We do not want that to happen because the gut barrier becomes leaky, and then it allows that bacteria and the LPS to cross over into the blood. So that was a very quick few strategies that can help with our brain health that is within our power. And if you will notice, that discussion did not involve medications, and there are very few medications that will improve our brain. But again, it was in our power to make change, and I look forward to you improving your brain power. Again, I'm Natalie Kunsman, MD. Subscribe to my channel below, and until we meet again, be well.